Hi, and today I'm going to be taking us through the mechanical PDF takeoff software. So what we're going to want to start by doing is uploading our drawings onto the cloud. So to do this, we want to come up here to this first little symbol up here, this little blue icon. Give that a press, and that's now going to open up your cloud storage space. As you can see, you do have access to the drives on your machine, but what I'm going to do is simply just minimize the software and then just copy and paste the drawing from my desktop into my little drawing folder. If I wanted, I could create a new folder in here if I so wish, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to paste one in there like that. And that's going to upload it onto the cloud. So now I'll just go back to the PDF, and I now press the yellow open folder symbol. There's my drawing, open it up, and then you'll see that on screen. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is set the scale of the drawing. So over here it does actually tell us what the paper size is, and you can select your scale options from out of the menu here. If it is something like 1 to 75 for example, you can come onto here, click custom, and just write 75 in there and hit confirm. What we're going to do today is I'm going to show you the custom scale feature by pressing this little box here with the 3 dots in. That will allow me to take a known measurement from the drawing, so I'm going to use this doorway. So left click at one side of it, left click at the other, and then simply state what the distance should be. So I'm going to put 850 mil, press OK, and that's given me 1 to 96 as you can see up here. Now I could go again and try get it a little bit more accurate this time. See if I can get it up to 1 to 100, but it seems it's probably a little bit more than 850 that I'm going for. But I can safely now pick 1 to 100 and know that is the correct scale. So after we've got the scale there and ready to go, now we have to decide what we are going to take off and what color we are going to be using for it. So we're going to be doing the heating system, as you can see there, the flow and return, and I have my different color options here. Now I'm just going to keep with red. Ideally you want to go for contrasting colors, so if, as we can see, we have blue takeoff lines here, so I'm not going to select one of the blue options. I want something that will actually stand out, and I'm just going to write in what I'm doing for my takeoff service. So this will help us out when we go to import all this information onto the estimating software, or if we choose to do the Excel export, whichever one we decide to do. Okay, so now we've got that ready, and now I just need to select the relevant materials that I need. So what I'm going to go for is my spec drop down list, which is just up here at the top. So if you have seen the mechanical estimating, you'll know all about that one. And what I can do as well to also view the spec menu is just select the little spec box over here. And actually in this menu it will allow us to go through and set up different favorite specs on the job. So on this menu it will only show those relevant favorites, and that will also correspond to the drop down and move any of your favorite specs up here to the top, just to make it a little bit easier when going through and selecting your different specs. So it is ideal to go through and do that. Right, so now we have our drawing, everything's set up, we are on the right spec. Now we just need to select the right items and input the sizes. So I'm going to start off here at the riser, so it's 32 mil. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to write in 32, and I'm going to tick the flow and return tick box. So we could have a different return size if needs be, but in this instance we should be okay. So I want to start by importing my riser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the second row, and I'm able to select my riser icon here. So as you can see, you have all of your different items relevant to the spec that we are in. So I'm going to click the riser icon. You'll know it's that one because it's always vertical. Give it a press, and it's going to default out to 3 meters. That can be changed as a default just in your system preferences up here if you ever need to do that. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to include AT. I'm going to press confirm, and all I have to do is come up here and give it a left click and input that item in. Now there is a couple of things else in here that we've got. We've got some different settings. So I've got part numbers being shown. That's something that can also be turned on and off in your system preferences. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to turn it off, and here's your riser length settings. There's a couple of other things such as showing arrows on lines and setting up an automatic save, as well as some default bracket centers and flange spacings that you can set up. But for now I'm just going to leave them as they are, and I'm going to press exit. Okay, and what I wanted to do, if I wanted to get rid of that, I just simply have to undo, select my riser icon again, say I want to include the T, and redo the count. There we go, and that's given me my little symbol there, which you may prefer having less on the drawing and having it less cluttered, or you might be on the other side of it and much prefer to have those reference points there for yourselves. Either way, you can be turned on and off at any point. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to measure out this straight pipe work here. Now we do have a couple of different options to do it. So we have the straight pipe work itself and a few other options here, such as straight with bends. So this can automatically put the bends in, and two others here that will automatically put in, it says flanges, so it could be anything from flanges to connection pieces to couplings, sockets, any of those, and then a bit more of a finer detail version as well. But do always remember that you don't have to necessarily go with these options here. You could always choose one of the linear assemblies that we've got created in here. So this will actually give us different bracket centering and a bunch of other things, a little bit more specific to the job that you're doing. So as you can see in here, it's actually going to give me a lot more materials if I use this one. So I am going to go through and do this, and I'm going to use my bracket centering at 1.2 and simply just hit confirm. And then all I want to do, because flow and return is still on, I just want to click one of these rows. So I'm going to left click at the start point, left click into the bend, and then just keep left clicking from there. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push my mouse wheel down and hold it so I can drag the drawing over. I could use the slider bars down here at the bottom. I just personally think it's a bit more fluid if you do it with the mouse wheel, so you can keep your measurements going nice and easily. I could also zoom out a little bit, and it changes down to 25 somewhere down here. So I'll go to here, and then I want to end this now to say I'm done counting my 32 mil. So I'm going to finalize that with a right click. And as you can see down there, if I actually just use these blue arrows to bring it all up, we've now got all this pipe work it's just taken off for us. And as you can see in there, we've got different elbows that have been counted up for us as well. And if I take us back up, it actually gives you a little symbol for each bend that it's inputted there, the little diamond shape. So now all I want to do is go down to my next available size. So I'm going to just change my size over here, back to 25. I'm going to reselect my item, confirm, and I'm going to left click from here. I could stop and include the reducers, or I could simply just come back and do those afterwards. So I'm going to do something very similar. Change there, could change this to 20. I've still got my item selected, so I'm going to start again with another left click, use my mouse wheel and take us up to this T junction, and then right click again to finalize it. As you can see, we start getting a nice refined list. So you've got 30s, 25s, 32s, 25s and 20s. So now if I actually did want to stop and start putting in some of these reducers that we've got, I can just come up here and you'll have a reducer symbol up here. I'll give that a press. Now admittedly it is only showing me the 20 mils because that's what the size it does believe that I'm on, but I can hit display all sizes and bring up the rest of it for us. So 32 by 25. And it's also asking for the return size as well. Do we want the same reducer? Yes. So 32 by 25. One left click, drop that one in there, and reselect the riser again. And now I want 25 to 20. 25 to 20 again. One left click there. There we go. And now we've come up to our T where it's a 20, 15, 15. So I'm just going to come up here, select my T icon, and display all sizes again if the one we're looking for isn't there. So 20, 15, 15, perfect. Same thing again on the return, confirm that in, there we are. And now I can quickly change this over to 15 and just finish off these two branches over here. So back to linear assembly, select my linear assembly, and left, 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 right, left, 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 right. Something along the lines of that. Now, just to help us again, just with going around and actually doing these unit counts as well, we have a lot of radiators here. So what we can do is we can press this A and B button and we'll be able to switch over to our specialist items in here. This way you'll find things like sanitary ware and of course the radiators, pumps, water treatments, water storage, lots of other different options in here. So do make sure you give that a look. And valves, are just here as well if you do need any of those. So any of these types of items are quite simple. You simply click onto it. It'll show you all of the available manufacturers, and you're able to select on the relevant ones and see the categories of items that are available. So if I was looking for a lock shield, for example, I could come here and get these ones. Now, alternatively, you can search by the category first if you do find that a little bit easier. So I can come down here, let's look for a check valve, for example, and here it's showing me all of the available manufacturers for the check valves. So I can simply go through and you can see all of them appearing over here on the right. But one other thing I'm going to show you today is the unit assembly. So the unit assemblies are quite good because we've already got some radiator valve setups already here. So that's already inclusive of some tube, radiator valves, lock shields, Ts and some TRVs. So these are absolutely perfect. So I'm going to select this. It is going in at 15 mil, and all I have to do on every radiator is simply do one left click, and that is going to count the rad setup for us. So it's just a nice simple go around now. I'm just putting it just slightly off from the radiator, just so it's a little bit easier for me to see when we are going to be going back over it and just making sure that we're happy with everything. So as you can see, we're easily starting to counting up. We're already counted over 60 parts. If any of the items that you are looking for are not one of the images that are up here in your relevant spec, then simply just come over here to your MISC button or your other fittings if you hover over it, and then it will show you all of the available items within that spec. So it's in here, you can see all your different components. And if you're still struggling to find the relevant items that you're looking for, if you do both category and the manufacturer search, is simply just come onto the advanced search button. So this will give you a list of all of our manufacturers that we have available in the software and what relevant items we have in for them. So this can sometimes be a really easy way to go through and find the item that you need. You can also use our description search or our product code search. Just input on either and press enter on your keyboard, and it will find the item if it's available in our database. Now, if we wanted to say that we finished this and we wanted to save it and do an Excel export, so we could copy all of that information back on to our own PC, then we want to start off by simply just pressing our save, labeling up the drawing accordingly, and I'm also going to do the Excel export just by clicking on the Excel symbol here. I'm just going to get rid of that part of the file name and click save. And there we are, the export is complete. So now I'm going to go back, I'm going to press on my blue folder and go into my drawings, and here is all the relevant information that we need. So we need all of this. This is all of our new items. So I'm simply just going to copy that, and then I'm just going to paste this onto my desktop. So here I can see I have a completed version of my PDF. This is my quantities file, so the estimating software will need this, so do keep it with the PDF takeoff. And we have our Excel exports here. So these are the same Excel, but they're just these are the same Excels, but they are sorted in different ways. So I'll just open one up for you. In here we can see that we've got the items and they've all been merged, so it's showing us how many of each of the relevant size items that we've used or measured. Now, if we want to get the information into the estimating software, there's two ways of doing it. We can go directly when we're in the estimating software to import PDF and open up the quantity file that I just mentioned, which is the actual only file it will look for when you do the import on the estimating. So I can just press open, and that will actually come up with the relevant information for us to read into the estimating. So all you do is select your colour, select where you'd like it to go here on the right hand side. So I'm going to put it in my ground floor heating and hit import, and that moves the information over for us. Alternatively, the other method of reading it in is simply by having both softwares open and pressing the export to estimating button, which is duplicated on both rows. So press either of them, it will come up with the job that you are currently in, press confirm, and go to the estimating and hit import PDF, and you can see the options there again. But do make sure that you only do this once, unless of course you need to read it in twice, perhaps onto the next floor as a different option, if you just needed to change a few quantities
for that to be suitable, then that's also a thing that we could do. Simply just then adjust the figures on screen. Now, do always remember, if you need any help or assistance with this, you can always go to your support button, and this will give you an article, and it will also give you our contact number. You can start tickets or talk to us on the live chat, and we're more than happy to have a one-to-one online training session covering anything that we've discussed today. Thank you.